What's going on, guys? Your boy Ryan Amazing here. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, I wanted to do a 5-star review here for Hu Tao here, guys, as obviously Hu Tao is going to be getting a rerun alongside Nahida in the 5.1 phase 2. And so what I wanted to do in today's video is discuss Hu Tao's whole kit. We'll talk about how you want to build the character, and I'll also give you guys my thoughts on where I place her in the meta versus other DPS characters. So if you guys enjoy videos like this, man, definitely make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, as we are on the road to that 1,000 subscribers, guys. And once we do hit that 1k subs, I will be doing a 5x Welcome Moon giveaway. So if you guys do want to be entered into that giveaway, make sure you're subbed to the channel, and I'm going to be picking 5 of you guys once I do hit 1k to actually get those 5 Welcome Moons. Now with that out of the way, guys, let's hop in and let's talk about Hu Tao's talents right here. We'll go over those first, and then we'll talk artifacts, we'll talk, Constellation, weapons, and then we'll talk about where I think she ranks in the game. Alright, so hopping into her normal attacks here, guys, it's just pretty standard for Hu Tao. She is a polearm character, so she has a standard kind of polearm, moveset for the normals, charge, and plunging. So you guys can see here, these are going to be the percents right here. Now moving on to our elemental skill, guys, this is where it becomes very important to level up both the elemental skill and the normal attack of Hu Tao. And even if you look at the talent upgrade recommendation, you'll see it does the elemental skill first, then the normal attacks, and then into the elemental burst. And the reason why the elemental skill is so important for Hu Tao, guys, is because the way it actually works is it actually converts Hu Tao's HP into attack bonus. So pretty much it takes the max HP that Hu Tao has and it converts that into an attack bonus that gives the character a ton of damage increase, right? And what it's also going to do is it's going to convert your attack damage into pyro damage as well. And then charge attacks actually apply the blood hit blossom effect to the enemy's hit, and it also increases Hu Tao's interruption resistance, which is also very good. And yeah, guys, I mean, the blood blossom effect is also very strong, as enemies are affected with the blood blossom will take power damage. This damage is considered elemental skill damage, and each enemy can be affected by only one blood blossom effect at a time, and its duration can only be refreshed by Hu Tao herself. She has some type of off-field pyro application damage. She does damage when she's actually charge attacking into the enemy too. She gets interruption res, converts her damage into pyro, and also converts her max HP into attack percent damage. So yeah, guys, just a very, very strong skill right here, guys. You can see how much it actually does. It also does remove some of your HP, so 30% max HP right there is removed, but you do gain a 6.26% of your max HP as attack increase, which is obviously very, very strong too, right? And then you can see the blood blossom effect right here and the duration for it, and then the duration for the whole skill with the cooldown being 16 seconds. So it's not on cooldown that you're gonna get our elemental skill, but you're definitely able to get it relatively easily throughout your rotation, so it should not be that hard to actually get this on cooldown. And then moving on to our elemental burst here, guys, this is where Hu Tao is gonna be able to heal up the HP that she's lost from converting her her elemental skill here, where she gets the attack bonus. On the actual burst here, the way it works is that Hu Tao is actually going to deal power damage in a large AoE, and it's actually going to heal her max HP, and this can be triggered up to 5 times based on the number of enemies hit. And if Hu Tao's HP is below or equal to 50% of the enemies hit, both the damage and HP regeneration are going to be increased. You can see the percentages here as well. So even when you're just like regularly healing with her ultimates, 10% of your max HP is going to heal off the damage dealt, so that's obviously very good. And then your skill damage as well is going to be pretty good. And then the low HP skill damage is going to be even higher too. You do even more damage when you're less HP. And then moving on to her talent effects right here, guys, Hu Tao's actually going to buff the team's crit rate as well when her elemental skill is activated, which is pretty good. And then also with her second one right here is that when Hu Tao's HP is equal to 50% or less, her pyro damage bonus is going to be increased by 33%. So this is kind of the idea with Hu Tao here, guys, where she's a character that wants to be, very low HP when dealing damage. And it's kind of risky that you run her in that way, right? Because you could actually die very easily. So the way Hu Tao kind of feels, guys, kind of like a glass cannon type character. She does a ton of damage, but she actually takes a ton as well because of the fact that she's going to only have like really, really low HP whenever she's doing her attack strings. So yeah, guys, that pretty much covers her like talent skills and also the skill effects that she has. Now in terms of the artifact set that I like to run on my Hu Tao, I go with the Crimson Witch of Flames. So the way it's actually going to work is going to give you power damage bonus for 15% on the 2 set, and on the 4 set right there, it's going to increase your overload, burning, and burgeon damage by 40%, increases your vaporize and melt damage by 15%, and then when using elemental skill, the 2 set bonus by 50% of the starting value for 10 seconds, and it's getting a max of 3 stacks. So you can see there, when you use the elemental skill Hu Tao, you're obviously buffing the amount of power damage bonus you're gaining. You're also dealing more burning, vaporize, melt, burgeon, overload, like all the damage buffs are going to be increased for your reactions. And then yeah, I mean overall guys, this is going to be her best in slot in my opinion. And then obviously like other artifacts you can run would be like Shimenawa's. You could do yeah, it'd probably be what, like Shimenawa. You have Crimson Witch of Flames. Yeah, I mean other charge attack sets, maybe Marchese Hunter actually too. Marchese Hunter actually would not be a bad idea either. So I think you have a bunch of options with Hu Tao in terms of artifacts, and they're all like, you know, fairly well, Marchese Hunter and Shimenawa are definitely resin efficient. So if you're trying to get those artifact sets for her, I mean, they're still definitely going to work. And then talking Hu Tao's weapons here, guys, she has a good variety of weapons you can use. But obviously, Staff of Homa being her main weapon is her best because it increases her max HP. And then additionally provides an attack bonus based on the amount of HP the wielder has. And then when the wielder's HP is less than 50%, this attack bonus is going to be increased by an additional 1% of max HP, which is obviously very, very strong. It's going to start stacking up. And yeah, I mean, Staff of Homa, guys, are just a very absurd weapon. You guys can see I have 4 of them, man. You know, I picked them up on the rerun, guys, when there were, you know, I think it was Hu Tao's weapon and then another weapon I was chasing, and I got Hu Tao's weapon twice, so that's why I have so many of them. But yeah, no, just a very, very good weapon. I had to get a bunch anyway, since they are good, like good universal polearm just to have. But in general, guys, you do have options like Deathmatch on Hu Tao. I think, you know, Deathmatch is still good. Like, even though Hu Tao has a lot of HP scaling in her kit, it's, at the end of the day, this is still an attack character, right? She's converting her HP into attack. That's kind of the way she works. So she's not necessarily, like, scaling through her HP damage. It's based on her attack percent at the end of the day that is being converted from her max HP. And so that's kind of the idea, right? So still attack buffs are still going to be good for Hu Tao. They're just not going to be as beneficial as, like, a HP buff, considering the way she works with her scaling. And so that's why I would say like Staff of Homa is probably her best, but you still can run Deathmatch and get that 32% attack percent. And then, you know, other weapons on Hu Tao obviously could be like Jade Wing Spear. That's still definitely good, and even the attack percent on it is still not bad. And even for like 4 stars, guys, like other than that, like Dragon's Bane I think is going to be a great one, especially for Hu Tao when you're running a vaporized comp. As you can see right here, like the Elemental Mastery is going to be the main stat, and then you also have damage against opponents affected by Hydro Pyro is increased by 36%, which is going to be pretty much every enemy you're facing with Hu Tao anyway. And so that's obviously going to be a very, very strong 4-star option that, you know, if you're like trying to get a weapon that could suffice, that's not like, you know, like a battle pass weapon like Deathmatch, then yeah, no, like Dragon's Bane is going to be really good for the character too. And then moving on to Constellations, guys, I think this Constellation right here, C1 Hu Tao, is one of the most important quality of life, but also for DPS constellations in the entire game for a character, guys. Now, the reason why this is such an important constellation for Hu Tao specifically is because while in the elemental skill state pretty much, so when you do the elemental skill, Hu Tao's charge attacks do not consume stamina. And the reason why that's so important is because when we talk about Hu Tao's elemental skill, charge attacks always apply the Blood Blossom effect. And so when you do your charge attacks with Hu Tao, you're doing so much more damage than you were when you're using your normals. And that's why, like, that giving you the Blood Blossom effect on the enemies is going to be very strong, alongside the fact that you cannot run out of stamina pretty much, and you can just spam charge attacks with Hu Tao, and that's where it becomes super strong, guys, where that C1 is really a game changer for a lot of people. And I know for the most part, like, people have found ways to work with Hu Tao. Like, I can show you guys right here. Like, there's multiple ways you can use her. You can obviously, with C1, you can just keep spamming the charge attack right here, right? So there's that. But then, let's say you're running C0, you would do the charge jump, right? This is the strat that people use when they're running Hu Tao on the C0, because you can actually do the charge attack and still kind of save your stamina while doing it. But because the main reason why people don't like, you know, the way Hu Tao's charge attack goes is because of the fact that it, you know, moves you so much forward, right? If you're fighting an enemy and it's doing the charge attack, look how much forward you're moving when you do the charge attack, right? So the idea is that when you do like the jump cancel one with C0, that you're staying in one spot for the most part. Like, you're obviously moving up a little bit, but you're staying in like the general you know, like general space of the enemy, and it's a lot easier to control than when you're just like kind of, you know, charge attacking out in like random areas, guys. So yeah, that's why I think her C1 is like super important. Other than that, her dupes are like, you know, obviously like the C2 can be really good for the burst nuke. But like other than that, I mean, it's nothing super crazy. I think, yeah, well, the C6 is pretty insane though. But like everything else, I don't think is like must run for Hu Tao. Like if you just wanted to like have a good experience with Hu Tao, then C1 would probably be the move, guys. But again, like it's tough to recommend a C1 Hu Tao nowadays, considering the way the meta is and the characters that are good in the game. So one thing that people like to talk about a lot, guys, when they're discussing Hu Tao is Arlecchino. Obviously, Arlecchino is a more recent Pyro main DPS, and she does so much more damage than Hu Tao, generally speaking, that you're honestly not, like, really incentivized to pull for Hu Tao if you have Arlecchino already. Like, if you already have her, there's pretty much no reason to get a Hu Tao. Hu Tao at that point would just be because you like the character, right? And that's completely fine. And Hu Tao is still a great character nowadays, guys. Don't get it twisted, man. Like, people will say, like, Arlecchino's better, but Hu Tao can still put in the work. And I think, like, in my opinion, I think Hu Tao alongside, like, a double, like, Hydro comp, where you have, like, you know, Yelan, Farina, I think that type of comp, or even, like, Yelan, Xingqiu, is a lot better than the Arlecchino variant. I think Arlecchino usually, from what I've seen, that is going to be the best team to run is usually just like a mono Pyro or like a one Hydro, you know, on the team, right? Like a Yelan. But yeah, no, overall, I think Hu Tao is a better vaporized character than Arlecchino. But, like, if we're talking just raw damage, then, yeah, I mean, you know, Hu Tao is not going to be dishing out the damage that Arlecchino is able to do, guys. And that's just how it is at the end of the day between these characters, is that Arlecchino is the power creep for Hu Tao. So if you are looking for a more newer 5-star Pyro DPS, then, yeah, I mean, Arlecchino is going to be better. But you can still definitely use Hu Tao and get away with it and still clear your Spiral Abyss with pretty much no effort. So yeah, obviously, like, against other DPSs in the game, guys, I don't think Hu Tao is really coming close to, like, New Valette or like, Arlecchino. But she's definitely, like, on par with some of the, like, older DPSs that are still good nowadays. So you have, like, Xiao, I think, like, Ito. I would say she's probably better than, like, Scaramouche, right? I would say for sure. And even, like, Ayaka, I think Hu Tao is better than Ayaka nowadays, right? Raiden with dupes, I would still say Raiden is better. Yeah, no, but across the board though, guys, I mean, Hu Tao is still competing with a lot of the, like, standard meta DPS characters, and, you know, it's still runnable, and that's the thing at the end of the day is, like, when you're trying to find a character that works in Genshin Impact for, like, Spiral Abyss, you want to make sure that they are usable in the content and actually clearing, right? Like, you want to make sure the character is strong enough to actually clear the content, and Hu Tao is still nowadays can still compete to those DPS levels where you want to be dealing, like, an absurd amount of damage. She's still able to do that. So I don't think that this character is necessarily, like, power crept. She's definitely still better than a lot of the, like, older, like, Ganyu, you know, like, some of the older DPSs nowadays, like, you know, like, Child and Ganyu. I feel, well, Child, like, with Child National is still really good. Like, Hu Tao is definitely better than Yoimiya, in my opinion. Like, that's definitely, like, a clear win for Hu Tao. But yeah, no, and then, like, Chlorine, I would say she's probably, like, on par or maybe a little bit worse than Chlorine. Like, it's pretty tough with that. But yeah, guys, overall, I mean, you know, she's still definitely, like, one of the best Pyro main DPS in the game. I'll say she's probably, like, number 2 Pyro main DPS. So if you don't have Arlecchino, like, Hu Tao is definitely going to be your number 1. But overall, guys, like, what do I say about Hu Tao? And is she worth it nowadays to actually be picking up this character? I would say if you're going to go for C1 on Hu Tao, probably not worth it. And even because C0 is not going to be as good as well, like, you kind of feel like you don't have a complete character at C0 for Hu Tao, that it's really hard to recommend this character to pull for, man. It really is. Because the C1 is where Hu Tao feels a lot better because of the fact that the charge attacks do not consume stamina. Like, and I know, you know, players can play with a C0 Hu Tao and still get away with it, but again, like, the comfort that Arlecchino has over Hu Tao is you don't have to have a C1 for Arlecchino to play, you know, her, like, whole kit a lot better. You know what I mean? She still plays the same, whereas Hu Tao, her playstyle kind of changes depending on the dupe level, right? You have either C0 or C1. Your C0, you're doing the jump charge attack, whereas C1, you're doing the charge attack sprint, right? So you're, like, canceling out the charge attack. So yeah, no, overall, definitely not, like, a worth pull nowadays, guys, I'd say. Like, you can definitely skip out on Hu Tao. She's not that great. I think Staff of Homa nowadays is still great, though. Like, there's a lot of characters that can benefit from it. Even Arlecchino herself can still use Staff of Homa and be good with it. And this weapon is a pretty universal polearm at that too, right? So if we're talking, like, how valuable Hu Tao is overall, probably not as good, but Staff of Homa still is valuable. You know, I would say Staff of Homa as a weapon is definitely very, very valuable. But Hu Tao as a character, guys, has definitely fallen off a little bit. But if you still like Hu Tao, she's still great. And that's the good thing about it, is that characters like Hu Tao in the game are still relevant to this day and can still compete with relevant DPSs in the game, you know? So yeah, man. man, let me know what you guys think about Hu Tao in the comment section below, guys. I still think this character is great and still able to compete in the latest Spiral Abyss. I'll have a bunch of videos come out throughout the next few days, guys, where we're using Hu Tao, we'll use Nahida, and we'll kind of mess around and see how well this character is able to do nowadays. But yeah, I mean, from the videos I've done with Hu Tao, I think she's great, and I think she's not going to be really, you know, falling off anytime soon, considering the damage she does on Vate. And it's still just a super strong setting for her that she's able to still be able to dish out as much as she does. You know, considering she's a character from all the way back in like 1.5 or 1.4 of Genshin Impact, guys. That's pretty crazy. So yeah, man, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below of Hu Tao. That's going to be it for the video, guys, for the 5-star review for Hu Tao. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and that's going to be it. We'll see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out. Have a good rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.